we will make the clink sound with our mouths. Ready? Clink.
Unicorns, I love them. Unicorns, I love them. Unicorns.
Very good. I'm in the middle. The middle.
Unicorns.
In the middle.
Oh, the girl in all my guy.
Rub their eyes.
Girl in all my guy.
I'm in the middle. The middle.
Unicorns.
The middle.
Unicorns.
Time for cake. Time to deliver the cookies.
So I bought one.
Time
Now you best prefer.
when the dance. Time to deliver the cookies. Get back.
We got his mom's.
Time.
Does it?
Hit dog. There we go. Are you got it big full?
Oh, that's.
Oh, you got it big fully.
I recorded message.
Are you got it big full? Click. Oh, you got it big fully.
I recorded
No, big full.
like sleeping. Oh, you want that?
Oh, you got it big fully.
Like sleeping.
Come on. No, got it big full.
Like sleeping. And waiting.
Oh, you got it big fully. Fully.
One, two, three.
Jump with me, jump us with me, oh, with me, such fun. Jump with me, jump us with me, jump, oh, with me,
Great big hit, play lecture on Great big hit, play music and good times. Great big hit, play lecture on Great big hit, play music each day.
jump with me, jump us with me, oh, with me, such fun. With me, one jump us with me, jump, oh, with me.
Play lecture on play music each day is a dub. It's just play lecture on just play music each day. Useful and I think we got it.
When green, dee-dee-doo, doo-doo, big bird, just,
Great time on Sesame Street.
Also,
Ba, 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 ba.
Pepper Wonder
two, and two,
P-O-G His birds play His birds His birds play music each day is a dub. It's his birds play His birds His birds play music each day is a dub. It's
Great time on Sesame Street. 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 Great time on
What do you think?
Well, it's not the kind of music that old Willie Shakespeare here used to write.
Oh well, bye-bye.
What's going on, everybody? Hold on, I'm still getting things set up, but yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. What up, baby? I'm not sure why. I see other people commenting on the vertical live, but for some reason the comments aren't coming up. I don't know. It might be a YouTube issue. I apologize to anybody that commented over there. I can see like Too Fast to Track, T2, and Adam Davison, but there's no messages after the first ones. Now I see Too Fast to Track. What's going on, man? But yeah, I don't know if might be a StreamYard issue or might be a YouTube issue. I'm not really sure. But yeah. Hold on a second. Gosh damn tomfoolery going on here. I was actually going to cover some of the Epstein stuff going on. I think C-SPAN's doing some kind of a thing. And I was going to run it and see what was going on with it. So, yeah. Turn my camera on, maybe. What up, Andre? What up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Trying to make that banner go away. There we go. I remember my first day. But yeah, hope everybody's doing well. Didn't have much going on today. It's fucking raining and like 30-something degrees outside right now. How's it going, Adam? Just saw your comment now. In case you guys are wondering, I didn't see your first comments. I apologize. I'm getting famous? No, I'm not getting famous, man. Every once in a while, I feel like YouTube will share your stuff, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, you can be seen. But yes, far from famous, Andre. Oh, I hope everybody's doing well. Let's see. I'm going to pull up. House votes to released. Trying to see it covered by somebody good. That's just playing it, you know, and not adding too much of a spin on it. That way we can kind of see what's going on here. But yeah, I'll probably end up having to play it at a relatively faster speed. C-SPAN. Let's do C-SPAN. I feel like they got to be covering it or live right now. It would only make sense, right? They haven't done anything in 12 days. What the hell, C-SPAN? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. Trump said he would sign a bill to release the Epstein files. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are going to be surprised when they see the stuff that I have been talking about for a while now. It's ready for the Israeli intelligence connection. Like, it's insane to me that people haven't realized that if the other party, the Democratic Party, would have had any kind of dirt, they wouldn't have to conjure up real shit, unless both sides are incriminated, which is possible. But and I'm fine with Donald Trump going to jail if he did bad things. That's the other thing that a lot of people don't seem to align with. There are a lot of weird Trumpers that are like, no, he does no wrong and he could never do wrong. And I'm like, well, I don't totally agree with that. I do feel like he could do wrong. And if he did do wrong, we should probably call that out. But I feel like PBS is going to fucking flag me for some shit. Sorry, guys, I'm not reading the chat. I was looking at other stuff. What up, Louisiana, man? Okay, good. Making sure you didn't head to Dearborn or something. No, I'm not headed to Dearborn right now. Are you still by Broadview? Yeah, I still live in Illinois. I'm always somewhat by Broadview. What is it, Mohit? Hello, nice to see you. You liked and subscribed, Adam. I appreciate it. Israel runs the United States. I do feel like APAC is compromised. Like, I don't think it's unchangeable right now. I do feel like there's something that people could do about it, but yeah, we are beholden to Israel, and I feel like that's some of the main reasons we even went to the Middle East in the first place after like 9/11 and the war on terrorism and all this. It seems like whenever we go to war, it benefits Israel and not so much the United States. But yeah, I had a person on whose family was former Mossad. I know I say this story all the time, but the hubris, I guess, of the people of Israel is quite insane. Or maybe it was just this person, but she was speaking for all Israelis when she said this. She basically said, unlike the United States, the people of Israel are a democracy, which I can agree with that. Well, that the United States isn't a democracy. But then went on to tell me that their people have 100% decisions in what their military does. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not even possible. Like, you're going to tell me that there's a military or a government out there that is only beholden to the people and would never do anything nefarious outside of said government? Like, that to me is wild. Like, I might not agree with some of the things that the CIA does or the FBI, but I can still call them out and be like, hey, this really did happen. Like, it wasn't it wasn't non-existent. Like, there was bad things. Like, God, I don't know who else. I was telling a young black guy. When I say young, he was probably like 25, between 25 and 30, and he had never heard of the Tuskegee experiment. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, as a young black man, I feel like you should know this. Like, what the United States did to the fucking African American people, like, legit did to them. I'm like, this is fucked up. And then he was telling me why he avoided the Jabberwocky, and I was like, well, it still seems relatively on path of same result without having that information, which is cool. I will not run for president, Andre. I would never do that. Which country am I from? I'm from the United States. If it's not too obvious, Christianity has dumbed down America. No, I think Christianity has failed to hold its values. I was actually going to talk to somebody about this the other day. I was talking to a devout Christian the other day, and I would have to have him on here to like make too many quotes about him. But I think we lost a lot of the sanctity of Christianity, and this may be very like red pill and gender roles and stuff like that. But I do think there was an intention behind marriage, and I think it's lost its intention. But I could be wrong. Yeah. The United States of America is not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. Yep, that is correct, Andre. That is very, very true. I don't disagree at all. Yeah, under the illusion of a democracy as well. What's up, Curse Zero? Good to see you, sir. Yeah, sorry. Chat's all caught up to the best of my knowledge. But yeah, I wonder if I can cover it on Fox News. Yeah, they're not talking too much over it. I just want to get the actual footage without too many add-ons. That way I can talk through it as well, because I am kind of curious to what all has been going on. Started at 12 p.m. Just go all the way to when the speaker of the house starts. And then probably going to have to do this at 1.5 speed just because, gosh, it's almost more entertaining. We'll start at 125 just to be fair. Religion and politics should be separate because when you mix, there's always problems. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest issue. And the only time we really see a huge issue with that right now is with Israel. And the fact that it's a country as well as a religion. Like I don't think we've ever had that before. It's I don't know. It's not really something that people can I don't know. They can't even fathom it for the simple fact that it's just like we've never had something like that. And I see it all the time. It's just like Bibi Netanyahu doesn't make decisions for the Jewish people. He makes decisions for Israel. And I mean, to each their own, but I could see a very good argument for bringing him up for war crimes. Like people might speak differently, but yeah, I don't think the U.S. should have any involvement in any of it. We shouldn't be funding where either side's getting their weapons. Like it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. If you're listening to everything but music on 2x, you're slow. Yeah, I can't do music. I do like to listen to certain people, but like when I'm listening to Ben Shapiro, since we're talking about Israel, the pro-Israel Ben Shapiro, who would pick and I don't know if I could fault people in religion for doing this. Picking your religion over your country only is a conflict of interest when you're talking about Israel. You don't usually have that because, yeah, it's not usually an issue that overlines into politics that way. But yeah, for somebody that is calling everybody else out on being America first and this and that, I think Ben Shapiro is very much not America first, especially the fucking flip he just made on Tucker Carlson. But anyway, like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, I can't listen to them at a faster speed. The shit is just torturous. They both operate at like 600 miles an hour. All right. We have for volume on this thing. Our country was set up with Christian values. Yeah, I think morals in general were given to us. There's an argument that morals in general, human rights, were given to us biblically. Like, I can't find a source outside of religion that applies morals. Maybe that's just my libertarian side of being like trying to be consistent, but I can't see an argument outside of religion for how humans just knew the right thing to do. Like, I don't know. Maybe somebody could present an argument for that better than myself. Dearborn, Michigan. What is going on in Dearborn, Michigan? Now I'm kind of curious. What up, Sick? You have anything? God's kingdom is the best form of government? No, I don't think fully following religion, because I think organized religion gets some parts right, but not all of it. I feel like there's parts that can be done right, but not all of it. You just sent me a picture. Well, thank you, Zero. That's what I'm talking about. Take a hit for me. To be fair, when I use my water pipe, like that one that you guys just saw me have, that's actually tobacco. I don't like to smoke cigarettes because they make my fingers stink. That's why if you guys ever see me at the ice facility, I usually have like pouches in. I don't like to smoke in my car or in my truck. I don't know. Just a weird habit. New here, much love from Siberia. Okay. We're discussing religion. We were a little bit. I was kind of conflating the idea that that's why we have laws and like morals that people apply. Mm-mm-mm. Some countries mold religion to what they want instead. Yeah, yeah. I mean, or you'll get like conflating things, and it's just like uh Israel will be proposing something and be like, oh, well, you're committing war crimes right now. And then we're like, oh, well, what about the Holocaust? And it's just like, wait a minute, you're conflating two ideas and using religion for a different purpose. Like, there's an argument to be made that those aren't even the same people, if we're being honest. And it shouldn't be relevant to the conversation if there's another genocide going on. Jacob, people who I'm meeting think you're a celebrity now. No, I'm not a celebrity, dude. Not at all. No. It's not I'm no. Like I said, if I had more than like I think I've said this for a while. If I had like more than 40 people that I was talking to in the chat, I would probably turn off my computer. This is why I don't charge anything for my channel. This is why I do this all for free, is because the simple fact that I will get imposter syndrome if too many people are talking to me. There's very few people I can know on a regular basis. And yeah, no, thank you. If anybody hasn't seen this, that follow some of the Broadview content I've been doing at the ICE facility, Jake News put up a town hall. I think it was a town hall meeting from last week. And I believe they're having another one. They had it on the 16th. I hope he posts it soon because I'm curious to see what happened. I didn't realize how that tent and everything got taken down. I was commenting on it when I saw it because I thought, to the best of my knowledge, they were fucking up the parkway, and it's just not safe for people to sleep outside of Chicago. And yeah, I don't know. I think if anything, they should be charged and made to fix the fucking area where they killed all the grass. And yeah, this shit ain't cheap. Fucking roll some sod out there, and good luck even getting grass to grow at this time of the fucking year. The shit's gonna be dead until next spring. There's no way. Jacob is one of us. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Although Marvel's low-key said it best about humans requiring something to worship. Yeah, they do. Yeah. And it's wild. I was having a discussion the other day. God, I'm not even gonna get to a video, just randomly reading comments. I was going to have a conversation with a religious person the other day, and then all of a sudden I get thrown into an open panel with people that are talking about Mandela effects and shit like that. And I expected the religious person to be like, well, I'm not going to get out of my comfort zone and talk about things that I don't want to talk about. And then all of a sudden it was people with Mandela effects were almost treating it like a religion and couldn't talk to other people about their ideas that they found themselves like verified in, like they admitted themselves that they were verified in. It's just like, oh, so what gave you the determination that, you know, you are confident in this is a thing that needs to be watched and taken care of and, you know, paid attention to, and couldn't articulate it. And anybody that didn't have Mandela experiences themselves couldn't discuss it with them. Like, it was the most closed-minded conversation I've ever had. And it was like pulling teeth. It was absolutely like pulling teeth. This shit drives me absolutely nuts. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Louisiana. I'm a very, very normal person. What's crazy is I think there's a lot more people out there that are centrist and actually just normal people like me. The media likes to, I just liked and unsubscribed. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I'm looking for. If you can, just hit the down button. Any kind of engagement, I'm cool with. Yeah, yeah. I remember when Jake first started his channel. Yeah, that was bad, Andre. I mean, it was good that I was talking to people, but drinking a bottle of rum every night and staying on the internet for 6 hours at a time and talking to time travelers and alien abductees and future presidents and Bigfoot encounters. Not as many Bigfoot encounters. I need more of those in my life. But I feel like it got very out of hand very fast. And I like to be able, gosh, I was dulling myself down way too much and then still trying to have conversations with people. And I would say I maintained okay, but it wasn't worth it. And then, yeah, it was just a lot. Mumbling Nick, how's it going, sir? I've heard of you. I don't know of you, but I've heard of you, Mumbling Nick. I like him. He has some good views. Who are we talking about? Michael Phillips was right. Who's running for president in 2028? I assume there are a lot of people running for president, Andre. Yeah, it was wild. Well, and to be fair, like that, when I first came on, I was just like smoking weed and drinking and listening to people's stories, and like it was a good time. I enjoyed it, but then too many people were like trying to question me about like why I didn't call people out for their bullshit. It's just like, no, I'm here for the bullshit. That's why I'm sitting here smoking a blunt and having a drink. Is I'm here for the stories. I'm here for people's experiences, and I just like to talk to people. That's why I put that in my description. I just like to talk to people. It's so much easier than coming in with like, I don't know, coming in with that like wanting to just debunk people. Like I do debates and shit too, but I feel like it's different every time I go on like what I'm gonna do. Sometimes I'm kayaking. Sometimes I'm playing video games. Sometimes we're live at the gym doing classes because I'm a mixed martial arts coach. I try to share some of that content as well. I don't know. This channel was basically put together so that I could support other small content creators and then enjoy myself on the internet. It was an interesting time. You're running for president in 2044. Nice. I know Andre's looking for a political career in the future. I assume you're going to have to come back to the United States for that, man. Can't do it from Australia. All right, what do we got here? I believe it's going to be covered up a little bit by the chat. I'm in the Dabbleverse. I do political shows.
The house will be in order. The prayer will be offered by chapter.
Let's see what this is. Sorry. I'm in the Dabbleverse. I do political shows in the Dabbleverse. I'm the one who asked you the other day to come on sometime to talk about your ice busy. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah. I talked to a lot of people. Me and Granny shared a StreamYard for a period of time, and I still talk to Jib and 2K, and I've known Jake for a while. I'm just like on the outskirts of the Dabbleverse. Like I know Jack. I don't know if Jack is counted into the Dabbleverse, but yeah, I have a small group of people that are kind of on the outside of the Dabbleverse because I think Dabbleverse content is fucking lame, and I think Howard Stern is fucking garbage. I do like some of the stuff Anthony Cumia is doing with like Gavin McInnes. I do like censored and get off my lawn and all that stuff. But yeah, no, I think Howard Stern is just the biggest hypocrite on the internet or on Sirius, whatever. Yeah, I've never been a Dabbleverse fan in that sense. And then everybody's a fucking potato or a corn or a fucking puppet of the best characters. But yeah, everybody's a fucking vegetable or a grain. Like, it's so weird to me. There's too many gimmicks in the Dabbleverse. But yeah, I wouldn't mind talking politics. I like doing that to a certain extent. I feel like most people, when they end up talking politics with me, they feel like I'm kind of very similar to them. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody that I don't know. I'm a very logical person. I'm not a crazy right-wing nut. I just try to stay consistent with my views. Good afternoon, sir. I have a question. You went to the city hall yesterday with the protesters? I did. I walked. First they gave me the green sheet of paper, and the green sheet of paper said, after we're done at the ICE facility, then we're going to march to City Hall, and we were going to go in and file complaints. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to follow you guys. And then I touched up with Jake News. I'm like, hey man, are you going over here to this? And he was like, what is going on? And so he drove. I walked. I think it was like 0.7 miles, and we huffed it on foot. I was kind of with one of the groups that was going there to file stuff. And then as soon as they rounded the corner, I just kind of stopped at the corner because I was watching all of the cops file into this building. It was absolutely insane. Excuse me. They were at the fire department, the state building, and or the city hall, whatever, the city building, and there's probably, I don't know, 50 officers with billy clubs just waiting around the corner. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I was like, all right, I'm going to go over and see what the cops are doing. And so I just went over and said hi. Thank you for being here. If you guys watch my videos, I thank the officers all the time. The ICE officers, the county, the local people. Like, I'm not there to fight with officers. And I think anybody there that's like wishing death upon officers and shit like that, like they're making threats towards officers or wanting somebody else to lose their life or something like that. It's just wild to me. And one side does it unfettered. Like, it's absolutely insane. Would you mind if I use some of your footage to make a video? I will totally give you credit. I don't even need credit. Yeah, all my stuff's anything you guys see on my channel, it's fair use for anybody to use. I don't flag people. Yeah, I don't flag people for anything. Go nuts. That was the last video that I uploaded on my channel. And then after we left City Hall, I wandered back by the ICE facility. Everybody was gone. There was only 2 cops over there. But yeah, no, I don't care if anybody uses my stuff. I used to go on Jake Hudson's stream, but you know how Jake is. I was a good person 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, that's something you can expect when Jake's close and comfortable with you. That's been, yeah. I don't know if you guys see that, but like, Jake is the reason I have founder and CEO of Good Person Inc. Me and Jake have known each other for a while. I don't have as close of a relationship with him as other people do, but Jake is pretty consistent with me. But he also definitely throws me under the bus here and there as well. That's just Jake's style. Here's fine. You're a piece of shit. Nothing. Fuck you. Bye. Yeah, Jake's a good time. I like Jake. I was actually going to go on Jake's. I think Jake's live right now. I was going to go over to his channel and say hi, but I was planning on covering some of this Epstein stuff because I've heard a lot of interesting stories. I haven't heard anything. Somebody keeps telling me about this Bubba situation, and I've been trying to hear more about that besides just from random people on the street. Like I wanted to verify it through something. Granny knows me, so he can tell you things. We'll be fine if you come on. Oh, I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I can handle myself well. I've been on BYD, and I was just thinking of other dabble worse related stuff. And then Bradley comes over and does shows with me here and there, or Mr. A, whatever people call him, Bradley. Jesus is king. Greece is the land of God, and Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Hashtag Christ is king. All right. Word, dog. I don't really follow earthly religions. I think too many of them are corrupted by man. I feel like that's a big issue. But yeah, teach. I think organized religion can be a good thing as long as people aren't getting into like idol worship and shit like that, like crying over the Pope. Like that's a weird thing to me. Probably don't do that. But you know, enjoys air conditioning, but complains about others' gluttony. What up, Swedish dude? Yeah, plus God never come. I don't know. My biggest issue with religion is just humans are corrupt by nature, and then as soon as they have power, they use the power to influence what they're doing. So it gets a little bit lost in translation.
Kevin.
Would you pray with me? Almighty Lord, you who shakes the heavens and causes the earth to tremble, you who causes the sea to roar and the dry land to shudder, shake us from our falseness and rekindle our desire to love and to serve you in faithfulness and truth. You own all that we value. You own the silver and the gold, the cravings of our hearts and the successes we achieve. All those things that we're inclined to place before our allegiance to you and deem.
Thoughts on women in the church at an authoritarian level. I don't know how I feel about it. I've seen a lot of women priests. I just don't know. This is what I was talking about with the sanctity of marriage and where Christianity has gone. I think Christianity has moved the goalpost of what it is to be a Christian. And that's why Christianity has kind of gone to the wayside. But I could be mistaken.
Our obligation to steward this abundant wealth for the benefit of your creation. Fill this place with your spirit. With the might of your words, speak to us of your power and purpose, that there will be no doubt in our minds that you alone are our desire. Everything we want, that we need, and that we have been given by your hand, that we would turn our hearts and minds to you and dedicate our efforts to ensure that all the people we serve, your people, would have the assurance of your provision, even when the world around them trembles, and the upheaval of these times threatens their well-being, whole selves.
Prayer and shit like that, but I'm not in the mood. I just want to get to what people are voting on this.
Has examined the journal of the last day's proceeding and announces to the House the approval thereof. Pursuant to Clause 1 of Rule 1, the journal stands approved. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the gentlewoman from Michigan, Ms. Toledo. I pledge allegiance to the flag of God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Chair will entertain requests for up to 15 one-minute speeches on each side of the aisle. For what purpose does the gentleman from South Carolina seek recognition?
Because this is all a publicity stunt. I know it is, but I like when they're kind of held accountable for it. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Danielle from hell. It's good to see you again.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Schumer shutdown was proven irresponsible, achieving nothing, hurting American families. Last week, I joined with Republican call 43-day Democrat shutdown. The longest in history is over. The government can get back to work. on behalf of the American people. The Democrat shutdown caused the loss of paycheck, destroyed jobs, delayed services to our military, and included the inconvenience.
God isn't encased in religion since humans aren't all knowing, so it's difficult to find or figure out, I guess. That, plus, I think Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism are all based on older text. Like, the flood stories go back way farther than the Old Testament. I don't know why the Sumerians had some of the exact same stories, but all of that gets thrown out. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy to me that people use that as a logical. I had somebody tell me that Christianity was like the oldest religion the other day. I'm like, what are we talking about right now? It's 2,000 years old, like at the most. I mean, I guess you could predate it. There was Roman emperors that to prior to that, but no, I think all of it's based on older text, and the Sumerians were probably the oldest ones I could date it to, but it's all around the same area. That's what's so interesting about it is, and nobody cites their fucking sources. That's what it is, and I don't know. We know what are they? I heard an equivalent one day that we know more about Jesus Christ than we do Napoleon because of the time gaps in when the information was given to the public, or like when people studied it more. I need weed to cope with this, coping with this political craziness. I don't know. It makes me. It's because I'm ADHD. People better. My biggest issue with God, you guys are gonna get me on a bunch of rambles. My biggest issue with marijuana and Illinois in general is the legalization of marijuana. I think it was done horribly. I'm not smoking weed right now, by the way. That was actually tobacco. I let everybody know earlier. My water pipe, I use tobacco in there because I don't like my fingers to stink. And if you see me at the ice facility, sometimes I'll have like pouches in because I don't smoke in my truck. But yeah, I don't really smoke that much flower anymore. I've kind of moved to oil, and it's easier. It's easier and less. I don't know, less of a mess, I guess.
And delayed cancellation of flights worldwide. I'm grateful for the leadership of President Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson for promoting families first over failed political stunts, putting peace through strength, revealing war criminal lies, insulting Trump, yesterday attacking a Turkish flag tanker, causing evacuation in Romania, both NATO allies that we so value. Our prayers for the recovery of South Carolina native
Gentleman's
Jesse
time has
Jackson.
expired.
I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition? The gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Republicans have to decide if they're going to protect pedophiles or seek justice for survivors of sex trafficking and abuse. I sat across from survivors. Some of them were as young as 13 and 14 at the time.
That's a very true statement. Follow the money. What up, Music Man?
The Treasury
Good to see you.
Department, Mr. Speaker, is sitting on suspicious activity reports on Epstein's financial network detailing thousands of transactions totaling more than $1.5 billion. In fact,
Because I do feel like more than anything, like what is it? Dufresne, the blonde chick that was an Epstein victim, and I think she had involvement with Prince Andrew. Yeah, she worked at the Mar-a-Lago, so I do think there was conflict of interest. But the reason I think, and it might have been that Donald Trump knew about what was going on, but the reason I think that Donald Trump actually separated from Epstein was it Wexler that donated like property and a bunch of money to Epstein? He didn't really donate. He said he was paying him for some kind of service, but there was a property that went up for sale in New York, and I think Trump reached out to Wexler, and then Wexler eventually gave it to Epstein, and then I think that's actually what like sparked their falling out. But I don't know. That's to me, that sounds more up Donald Trump's alley. Oh, you don't want to do business with me? Fuck you.
JP Morgan knew about these suspicious transactions for more than a decade. He had 134 accounts with
Yeah, that's the craziest thing is these motherfuckers do need to be held to account as a thing in the political landscape. Yeah, if Donald Trump was involved, like, and it almost seems like so many of these like celebrities and politicians were I think some of them were even coerced because if you think about it, some of them only visited the island or flew on his plane one time that we have record of. And those are the people that are like probably got there, figured out what the fuck was going on, and were like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with that. And then there's other ones that are like, oh yeah, I went like 20 something times, like Bill Clinton. Like, and then that needs to release all the files. I did hear something about Donald Trump was one of the first people to turn Epstein in, like prior to his first arrest, which is kind of wild. I didn't hear that prior to this new Epstein release.
continue to profit. The corrupt administration would rather protect the rich and powerful, their billionaire donors, and stop the truth from coming out. Survivors of the horrific and systematic sexual abuse, they deserve justice, and public deserves to know the full truth. But don't be fooled. President Trump has the power to release the full, unredacted files right now without congressional action.
Yeah, I agree. Music fan. A lot of his people will follow him blindly, but it just makes no sense to me. Tell me that you're into politics and that you're, that's why you support Donald Trump or whatever. But never in the history of politics have I ever fully supported any candidate. There's always something I can disagree with them on. I'm usually picking the shiniest fucking turd of the, like, we could do far better with people that are trying to run the country. And we're under this illusion that we need to pretend that Donald Trump can do no wrong. Like that's just silly to me. I don't like always Trumpers. Hope you're doing well, Michael Moody. Any news on the Epstein files releasing? That's what I'm listening to right now. This is the House voting on releasing the files. Donald Trump's in support of it now. I knew he supported the Democrats. The only that one chick that publicity stunt where she was handing out folders on the White House lawn. And then she was also trying to move to classify hate speech and like all of this other shit. Like she was trying to mess with freedom of speech, and that's why I was kind of like, nah, I'm kind of done with this chick. Thoughts on Trump having master head game? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I want to hear where that story comes from. I've heard a lot of that, Con, but I haven't heard anything legitimate. The only thing I've heard was from protesters on the street so far. I haven't heard anything from I haven't seen anything from other people. But yeah, this fucking wild story. Something about Bubba. Yeah, I have heard this. Or if it was just people trying to fit the narrative on their side. What's going on, Mud Rabbit? Checking out the House voting on releasing the Epstein files.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Colonel Rick 66 in Colorado Springs. For years, Rick has served as a mentor and a role model to the Scouts of Troop 66. His commitment to the principles of scouting.
Oh no! Like, just regardless, I just like I just feel a lot of sides say stuff. I've heard 100 people claim that Donald Trump was like a PDF and all this other stuff, but I haven't seen any like evidence towards that. Like the Miss America pageant was a good example. Everybody's like, oh, he walked into the dressing rooms and he admitted it. I was like, that makes him a creep, but it doesn't make him a pedophile. I was like, there's a lot of like the shit he said about his daughter. Like, that's a weird thing to say about your daughter. Like, I don't care what anybody says. That's a weird fucking thing to say about your daughter. If they release the files, it's gonna be all edited. I think it will be to a certain extent, but I think they're just getting to a breaking point where they're going to have to at least slowly start releasing it. Oh yeah, and that's the biggest thing is a lot of survivors probably aren't coming forward for the simple fact that nothing's been done for any of the other people. So why, and then people are getting, I don't know, people are just disappearing or being unalived. I don't know what the proper word is on YouTube nowadays, but yeah, they get fully Epsteined and then they just disappear. Nobody knows what happened.
Has created a nurturing environment where scouts are encouraged to grow into responsible, confident leaders. Rick's ability to connect with youth, guide them through challenges, and celebrate their achievements is a testament to his deep compassion and unwavering dedication. Under his guidance, Troop 66 has thrived. Rick has led count focus on building resilience, teamwork, and respect. His mentorship has helped many scouts earn the rank of E.
You run the show. We'll run the finances.
Don't.
From side
When you're
hustle
putting ads in the middle of the show,
success story.
how dare you, Mr. Side Hustle?
service and integrity. On behalf of all those whose lives he has touched, I extend my deepest gratitude and heartfelt recognition. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, under Donald Trump, America is joining the ranks of other countries in all the wrong ways. Freedom House now lists some nations where judges and prosecutors face political attacks. Reporters Without Borders says our press freedom has sunk to a historic low. And now Trump has crossed a line no U.S. president ever did cross. He withheld food assistance that Americans were legally entitled to, blocking...
All right. See, this is what I'm talking about, political stuff. This guy is trying to claim that Donald Trump and not the House who decided not to go back into session. And there's a majority of Republicans that were trying to get back into session. And all of a sudden, it's the Republicans' fault. And somebody that is outside of the vote altogether. No, what happened was people put things into the bill, and it was about what was it? It was about continuing insurance for illegal aliens, which they had at the time. Like we've actually had Medicare, or not Medicare, medical help for illegals for a period of time, and it wasn't like a new thing. Like that's the craziest part about it. You look like they reanimated Aaron Carter. I like that. That's fair. That's fair. I like it. You look like if squirrels had armpits, yeah, but like a little bit greasier. You know what I mean? With that being, no, I'm just kidding.
nutrition benefits, not because the country can't afford them, but because he thinks it helps him politically. In my work as co-chair of the Tom Lantos...
God, and then all the fucking shit that okay, and this is something I've had to deal with at people, like protesters at the ICE facility, arguing with me about food stamps is the stupidest fucking thing I have ever heard somebody do. The argument is usually, oh, we gotta stop all of these big businesses, and we gotta stop all of this blah, 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 blah. I'm somebody that's never gotten, I've never been on SNAP. I've never been on food benefits or stuff like that. I want it to be there for people that do need it. If for any reason, if for any reason I needed it, I'd want it to be there. When the number one fucking product purchased on SNAP benefits is going to Coca-Cola, I'm watching us funnel tax dollars into fucking Coca-Cola. How crazy is that? Like, you're going to tell me you're not in support of big business, but you're arguing for people on what SNAP was originally named. It was something like that. Like Nutrient was actually nutritious was actually in the name. And then I think in the 60s they moved to add like sugary drinks and pop and all of this other shit. And she's like, how where have we gotten with this program? The whole thing needs to be restarted. And yeah, people should be drug tested that are on SNAP. If you have enough money for drugs, then maybe don't rely on the government to buy you food. Like, is that just a fucking common sense thing? This is for people that got laid off or lost their job and need help. They need a leg up. It's insane to me that people are like, no, I just want to be on food stamps for the rest of my life. I want it there for our veterans, our disabled, our our retired, our old folks. Like, why are we letting able-bodied Americans just fucking churn out kids and like, and this may be because I'm biased because I live in Illinois, but Illinois has created a system to keep single women reliant on the government. It works with soda, says boss man. He doesn't like it when I say pop. It makes women reliant on the government. It's more incentivized in the state of Illinois, and it might be different in other places, to have multiple children outside of wedlock. If you have, so you get 25. I think this is how it's set up. You get 25% of the father's income supplemented for child support if you're filed for child support and you're no longer with the husband. They'll get you a place to live. They'll give you 25% of child support, and it's 25% for the first kid with every dad. So it actually can't supplement that much out of somebody's income. You can't just get 25% for every kid. But it incentivizes having multiple kids with different fathers. Fathers don't get rights to their kids in the state of Illinois. First, you have to set up child support, and that's regardless. It's just anything outside of marriage. Anything outside of marriage in the state of Illinois, you have to prove paternity, pay child support, and you will be lucky to get Wednesday and every other weekend for a couple hours. Like, how are we going to push a nuclear family in the world and say that we care about people equally while this is happening? Like, this is the craziest thing, and I don't know if it's because it's absolutely insane. In federal communications, I spent the last 2 years in federal communications. I don't know what that means, Avery. I probably can't talk about it. That's because they have no idea how the economy works. Am I clipping or is it me? I don't know. Everyone, let me know if I'm clipping. What up, 7? I think it's 7. Sven?
Human Rights Commission. I've seen brutal regimes use food as a weapon, and leaders starve their own people to hold on to power.
Yeah, the Democratic Party did. That's why they chose not to. They used insurance for illegal Americans as an excuse to not feed the rest of Americans. And we knew what was happening. I actually predicted this on one of my live streams. I took down what was happening was I had a feeling that they were going to do it until the midterm elections passed. Sure enough, midterm elections passed. Then all of a sudden they come back into session. Yeah, I can't give details, but you learn a lot. Yeah, I feel you. I feel bad for teachers, police, fire. They may lose their SNAP benefits. So I don't. I don't feel bad for unions. I think unions are one of the most corrupt things in society. And I don't know if it's different for other states and how they deal with unions. We're a very pro-union state, and I think unions protect bad people, no matter what field it is. Whether it's a teacher that's not graduating enough students because they're not engaging with the class, whether it's a police officer that goes outside of the law and is still getting held up by the union and represented by the union. I think you have the right to be represented, but that's not the same thing as representing somebody when you know they did something wrong, regardless of what they did wrong, because they're part of your union. And yeah, most firemen make I've known a few firemen, and yeah, no, I don't. I don't feel bad for people that are doing well in society. I think teachers get paid too much now, and they're not educating our kids properly. And I think you're going to see a lot more of growth of pulling people out of our kids out of public schools. I didn't say bad ones or dirty cap, but the problem is teachers unions, police unions, they protect those bad people, and they all work usually for the same unions. So yes, there are good ones in there as well, but I think and that's with any group, the bad ones are going to overshine. Teachers stay around for a tenure when they're not making a difference, or they're teaching your kids something fucking bizarre that definitely isn't even part of the curriculum. a lot of personal shit gets drug out and through kids vicariously. I do feel bad for the better ones. I do feel bad for the teachers that are spending their time buying their own supplies and having to do shit like that, spending all of their off time grading papers. But I don't think that's the majority. I do think there's a lot of people that are protected in cushy businesses like that, especially because of the union. If your child's teacher has rainbow hair, get your child out of that school. I just feel like and I know this is TikTok and like all of like the vines and shit that like vines aren't a real thing anymore. Jacob, stop saying it. All these like short clips that you see in reels and all that of teachers being like, yeah, I told my students that I'm single now, or this is my dating status, or this is all of that shit is so wild to me. And I feel like it's pushed into my face just because it's the fringe. Like I also am under the impression that media likes to put out the worst of both sides, and it's not the overall. Like I was very much centrist, and they just need ideas to come together on. What up, Brett? Good to see you, man. Sorry, this guy's got me on a tangent because he's just spouting craziness.
I never, ever thought I would see a U.S. president try to rip a page from the same playbook. What a shameful moment in our history, and I will continue to fight to end hunger.
The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize a distinguished public servant from Hancock County, Mississippi, Brian Hootie Adam, who will retire on December 21st, 2025, after more than 4 decades of serving his community. Hootie began his career in 1985 as a firefighter, answering the call when his neighbors needed him most. In 2003, he became director of Hancock Emergency Management Agency, a role he has carried with steady leadership for 22 years. During that time, he guided the county through many countless emergency, destructive storms, and most notably,
Avery, that is a prime example of a union protecting somebody. Yeah, and this happens in places that need to be put on a pedestal, and the unions need to be held accountable just as much as these bad people, because they're protecting bad people. Like this is the same thing I had with the Epstein files. You know what I mean? If we're protecting bad people, let's just not do that. I don't think it's that hard of a reach.
the unimaginable challenges of Hurricane Katrina. Through every crisis, Hootie was a source of strength, calm, prepared, and fully committed to protecting the emergency response across our region and set a standard of service we should all admire. Mr. Speaker, I ask my colleagues to join me in thanking Hootie Adam for his extraordinary dedication and wishing him the very best and well done.
Hootie, hootie, hoo!
Speaker, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition? The gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to celebrate Midland High School Principal Tila Sherman for being named the Michigan 2026 High School Principal of the Year. Principal Sherman's compassionate and hands-on leadership sets an example for schools across the country. She is an extraordinarily gifted leader who inspires those around her to stand up for every child in all our communities. It is her passion for education and her fervent belief in every child's potential that guides the work she does every day. She encourages collaboration and teamwork among educators, making Midland High School a safe space that uplifts everyone under its roof. Principal Sherman pushes her students to dream big, asking them, there are years ahead in her leadership journey in education. I have no doubt that she will leave a legacy of educational excellence, deep caring, and a spark of hope for every student she encounters. Go Chemics. Thank you, and I yield back.
Like, I don't mind political stunts like that. Like, yeah, promoting good people like that firefighter, a teacher. Like, I don't know if she's a good person or anything, but these are the kind of people that I try to continue a false narrative. It is a little wild, but expected.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition?
Maybe that guy. So this is when you can go, oh, okay, maybe that guy's getting money from Coca-Cola. Maybe that's why. That's the incentive of not fucking not wanting SNAP benefits to get taken away. Look at where people are getting. Look at how much was it Nancy Pelosi fucking made in her career. Is that Nancy Pelosi? I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah, some of these people just make way too much money, and yeah, they gear what they're voting for to the lobbyists.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, as we recently celebrated veterans across the country, H.R. 5939, the USMC Helicopter Support and Vietnam Congressional Gold Medal Act, would award a Congressional Gold Medal to the Vietnam-era Marine Corps and Navy veterans who performed vital helicopter support and dangerous operations. They successfully.
So with the Heritage Foundation, I'm not saying it's the Jews, but craziness of watching everybody cope with Tucker Carlson shit is so funny to me. Like, I don't know why Tucker Carlson is a bad guy now, because he talks to other people. Like, yeah, he's now bad because he talks to other people. That was what everybody liked him for, a couple months ago. But yeah, I think they're trying to do new things with Nick Fuentes. Yeah, keep an eye on Nick Fuentes as things transpire. It's interesting. Like, and I was thinking about this more of like the people that I've seen in politics. Fuentes, it was Charlie Kirk. These were all white guys that came out of the suburbs of Chicago and went on to have very big careers. And some of their ideas relate, but Charlie would have talked to Nick Fuentes. He would have talked to Charlie talked to Gavin Newsom. Like, I know he would have talked to Nick Fuentes. Candace Owens talked to her, Nick Fuentes. I believe the founder of the Daily Wire was Jeremy Boring. He went on a Discord call with Nick Fuentes and had a conversation with him too. So all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson's a bad guy for doing it. What are we talking about? Like, I don't know. Just be fucking consistent. If the top stuff was within the last day, the Heritage Foundation board member resigns over video defending Tucker Carlson. So that's why I made that comment, because I assume this is where all of that stuff is coming from, is the defense of Tucker Carlson is coming from one group of people led by Ben Shapiro. And yeah, it's just so confusing to me.
Carried out life-saving medical evacuations, transporting approximately 189,000 service members. Recognizing those who put their lives in harm's way to help out our wounded is long overdue. With the enactment of this bill, Congress can and must take the crucial step towards finally giving these brave veterans the heroes welcome they so deserve. Thank you, and I yield back.
The chair lays before the House a communication.
Honorable Speaker.
The connection I made with Trump and Israel was what they're doing in Gaza and what Jared Kushner and what they're trying to do to Gaza. Like, if you look at because I compared Pearl Harbor to the October 7th attacks. The reason I compared the two is because there was a bunch of red flags, and I don't understand why nobody did anything about it. it was quite obvious that it was orchestrated, and it was very much just let it happen. Like, you're going to tell me this is the most protective dome in all of the world, and their defense system is amazing, and all of this and that, and then some guys on fucking paracopters are able to just swoop in and nothing happens. And then prior to that, Bibi Netanyahu was talking about rebuilding the Gaza Strip, but they have to get rid of like 80% of it. And then all of a sudden, once Donald Trump's very much involved in the conversation of building there again, and now Jared Kushner's in charge of some of the deals going on over there. Yeah, it's easy to fucking follow the money. It's easy. Like, they lay it all out in front of you and then expect you not to notice any of it. Don't look over here. But yeah, to say that AIPAC has way too much of an influence in the United States is an understatement. Some of them are Mud Rabbit, but not all of them. Some of them will follow Bibi Netanyahu blindly.
House of Representatives, sir, I want to sincerely thank the committee for its graciousness in allowing me to waive onto the Committee on Natural Resources earlier this year. It's been a privilege to serve and to help advance environmental justices policies for the people of New York's 7th District in Puerto Rico. Thank you for small business and financial services. Effective this week, I will remove myself from the Committee on Natural Resources to make room for another member who wishes to take the opening.
Thanks,
It has been an honor to contribute to the committee's mission, and I look forward to continuing to advance our shared priorities in other capacities. Signed sincerely, Nydia Velazquez, Member of Congress.
Without objection, the resignation is accepted. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from North Carolina seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. By direction of the Republican Conference, I offer a privileged resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 886, Representatives, Committee on Homeland Security. Mr. Fong.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, by direction of the Democratic Caucus, I offer a privileged resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
This is gonna be very one-sided. It's Massachusetts. Expect it.
Clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 887, resolved.
Be considered as read.
Without objection, the resolution is considered read. And without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is let the gentlewoman from North Carolina seek recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, by direction of the Committee on Rules, I call up House Resolution 879 and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Calendar Number 47, House Resolution 879. Resolved that upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to consider in the House any joint resolution specified in Section 2 of this resolution. All points of order against consideration of each such joint resolution are waived. Each such joint resolution shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions in each such joint resolution are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on each such joint resolution, and on any amendment thereto to final passage, ranking minority member of the Committee on Natural Resources or their respective designees, and 2, one motion to recommit or commit, as the case may be. Section 2, the joint resolutions referred to in the first section of this resolution are as follows. A, the joint resolution, Senate Joint Resolution 80, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to National Petroleum Reserve and Alaska Integrated Activity Plan Record of Decision. B, the joint resolution, House Joint Resolution 130, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code.
So are they trying to drill for oil in Alaska? Is that what's going on? Instead of holding under our reserves? Interesting choice when our money's not worth anything.
The rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to Buffalo Field Office Record of Decision and approved Source Management Plan Amendment. C, the joint resolution, House Joint Resolution 131, provide for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to Coastal Plain Oil and Gas Leasing Program Record of Decision. Section 3, upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in the cause of socialism. All points of order against consideration of the concurrent resolution are waived. The concurrent resolution shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions in the concurrent resolution are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the concurrent resolution and preamble to adoption without intervening motion except 1 hour of debate, equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Financial Services or their respective designees. Section 4, upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to consider in the House the bill, H.R. 1949, to repeal restrictions on the export and import of natural gas. All points of order against consideration of the bill are waived. The bill shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions in the bill are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the bill.
Okay, so maybe it's about natural gas rather than oil, or I thought she said petroleum first, so I could be confused, but I'm pretty sure they're doing it with all natural resources. That's, I don't know. That's fucking, sorry, I kind of wanted to hack because I was touching my head too much, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not trying to get all hot.
And on any amendment thereto to final passage without intervening motion except 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Energy and Commerce or their respective designees, and 2, 1 motion to recommit. Section 5, upon it to require the Secretary of Energy to direct the National Petroleum Council to issue a report with respect to petrochemical refineries in the United States and for other purposes. All points of order against consideration of the bill are waived. The bill shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions in the bill are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the bill and on any amendment thereto to final passage without intervening motion except 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority.
Eve Online. I wonder if Eve Online is still totally corrupt.
1 motion to recommit. Section 6, upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to consider in the House of Bill H.R. 51 Reform Amendment Act of 2022 enacted by the District of Columbia Council. All points of order against consideration of the bill are waived. The amendment in the nature of a substitute recommended by the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, now printed in the bill, shall be considered as adopted. The bill as amended shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions of the bill as amended are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the bill as amended and on any further amendment thereto to final passage without intervening motion, except 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Oversight.
Wow, come on.
Upon a mandatory cash bills. All points of order against consideration of the bill are waived. The amendment and the bill as amended.
The gentlewoman from North Carolina is recognized for 1 hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the purpose of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. McGovern, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume. During consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purpose of debate only. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks. Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of the rule and the underlying legislation. Yesterday, the Rules Committee met and produced 8 separate measures. The rule provides closed rules for consideration of SJ Res 80, HJ Res 130, HJ Res 131, with 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Natural Resources or their respective designees for each joint resolution.
Things up for drill, baby drill. If I had to be accurate about it, I would assume that's where we're going with this.
Such joint resolution, 1 motion to recommit. Further, the rule provides closed rules for the consideration of H.R. 1949 and H.R. 3109, with 1 hour debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Energy and Commerce. Additionally, the rule provides for consideration of H. Con. Res. 58 under closed rule, with 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Financial Services or their respective designees. The rule also provides for consideration of H.R. 5214 and H.R. 5107 under closed rules with 1 hour debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform or the respective designees on each bill. The rule provides 1 motion to recommit for each bill.
That's probably because I'm in Illinois. I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're at. JP, it's not just people firing off guns all the time. Somebody asking if that was fireworks or if that was gunshots. To be fair, but no, I choose not to live in a neighborhood that's got a bunch of gunshots going off. I don't think that's the safest idea. No, I'm all about people's rights to own guns, but I think the Second Amendment's kind of a joke as it is written. Like, it kind of fits the same with Christianity for me. The Second Amendment is kind of a joke. The fact that we are only able to obtain certain arms And the second part of the Second Amendment is the right to protect yourself against a tyrannous government. And I don't think we have the means of owning any arms that could protect ourselves against our own government. Oh, I'm not a smart guy. Hi from South Africa. I'm not a smart guy. I just ramble on the internet for fun. I don't consider myself intelligent.
Transmission of a message to the Senate that the House has passed H.R. 4405. Mr. Speaker, after over 40 days of the Democrat government shutdown, the House has returned to regular order, and this majority is continuing to push forward with the American First agenda, the American People's agenda. All of these pieces of legislation we're considering today are in alignment with the American people's demand and President Trump's executive orders that we maintain a robust posture of American energy dominance. You know, Mr. Speaker, our Democrat colleagues have developed a strong proclivity to thumb their noses at the development of energy that comes from American soil. One must wonder why they choose to do that.
I feel like we were sitting on these reserves for a reason. And then we were making deals outside of the United States in order to obtain natural resources, especially if we're going to be reliant on fossil fuels and stuff like that. I don't have a problem with it. Actually, I think that the term fossil fuels is kind of perpetuated the wrong way. I don't think we're close to tapping out oil reserves across and deplete it. I think fresh water scarcity is probably more a threat than running out of all the oil. That's kind of what I was leaning towards. I don't think it's just the idea of calling it fossil fuels. And then if you used to look like, that's what they used to have for petrol stations, is they used to have like dinosaurs on there, and they're like, oh yeah, this is from dinosaurs. This is where all of our oil came from. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Environmental protections and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but it's just a fact that American oil and American natural gas are cleaner and more environmentally friendly than any of our global competitors. Why would they cede our dominance?
Because you have tax credits tax credits, pollution credits that are given out. And so what people do is they trade these pollution credits with other bigger companies and other countries. And basically what they're able to do is they're allowed to pollute more than other people because they buy the ability to. And yeah, so I don't get flagged for climate change denial or some bullshit.
On the global stage
move on.
in favor of hostile actors who lack even the most basic environmental protections. We are blessed as a nation to have vast repositories of natural resources that we can draw from and utilize accordingly. When we ignore the opportunities to harness these resources for our benefit, we deny ourselves the opportunity to grow more self-sufficient. H.R. 5214 and H.R. 5107, two measures reported from the Oversight Committee.
Self-sufficient is one thing, but I do want it to be a bargaining chip in the future because our money isn't real. And people are still under the impression that our money is real. And everybody's just trying to like raise minimum wage all across the board and get people paid $25 an hour. And the cost of living's going up and fucking nothing's holding steady, all on a dollar that's not backed by anything. Like the most sensible thing I've heard the government do recently when it comes to money is stop making fucking pennies that cost more than the penny itself to make. Like that shit's so wild. I think they're auctioning off the last two made pennies pretty soon too.
Focus on restoring law and order in our nation's capital city, a city that ought to be a model for the rest of the nation to follow.
Does the gentlelady reserve?
No, I'm going on, Mr. Speaker. H.R. 5214 would revoke cashless bail in the District of Columbia and would require mandatory pretrial and post-conviction detention for crimes of violence and other dangerous crimes.
That's good. It's a good thing. I don't think people should get cashless bail. I don't think people should be released on crimes. I don't think we should be fighting to get people shorter away.
H.R. 5107 would repeal the Comprehensive Policing and Justice Reform Amendment Act of 2022 and of Columbia Council. This act targeted police officers in D.C. for simply doing their duties, and it led to over 1,600 officers being removed from the city's force. Thanks to President Trump's efforts, the streets in D.C. are safer, and we have the opportunity through these two measures to add to that progress. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we have a Congress body recognize how dangerous the plague of socialism really is. We understand its history of failure and oppression. Throughout history, this ideology has collapsed into the most brutal dictatorships, communist regimes, and outright totalitarian rule. Many are quick to avert their eyes and cover their ears when presented with facts about the horrors of socialism. And many individuals across the world have suffered and died because of it.
Well, and it's the same thing. I mean, I've noticed this with communism, Marxism, socialism, because they're all relatively close. What happens is everybody thinks that their version of socialism or their version of communism is going to be different than the ones in the past. And all people reference is, oh, look how many people died under these regimes. Like, look how bad this was for everyone. And people are like, no, we're going to do it different this time. This is going to be the good socialism.
This resolution will put everyone in this body on record. The American people will see who espouse this caustic ideology and those who reject it. I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the gentlelady from North Carolina for yielding me the customary 30 minutes, and I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, Americans are working more and more for less and less. Almost every day I speak with young people who can't afford to start a family, can't buy a house, can't get ahead. I hear it from seniors who are struggling to survive on fixed incomes. I see it with my own eyes, moms and dads putting items back on the shelves in the grocery store because they can't afford them. Parents who can't go back to work because...
This is the guy that was trying to say that it was or why Snap got turned off. Yeah, I think not only should the ability for people to sit on food stamps for more than 10 years, more than 2 years, is insane to me. And I don't think, I think we need to put more restrictions on these things, and we need to make it more accessible. Like, if we want to make this actual function, like a functioning thing, we were looking at when the SNAP benefits got turned off, your average family that makes too much to be on SNAP benefits, and most of the time they aren't spending nearly as much on groceries as the family that can't afford groceries, and it's getting paid for by the government. And so not only are we funneling money into these big businesses and corporations, like, that's another huge drastic thing that would be super easy to do. If you're on SNAP benefits, no name brand products. I have no problem. There should be a fucking there should be a stigma besides for being on SNAP. It's not just I'm no longer getting my money that I'm entitled to. No, like, that's fucking bullshit. People have, there used to be a stigma about it because you didn't want to be on WIC. You didn't want to be on it. You wanted to thrive to get back into a situation where it was better. I mean, and there's no reason all grocery stores have off-brand shit. There's no, what did they say? It's like a 15% obesity difference for the people that are on SNAP to the people that are off SNAP. We're spending tax dollars to make people obese. Like, where are we? What? And this is our nutrition program. Yeah, this is our supplemental nutrition program that is making people fatter.
They can't afford childcare. People whose health insurance premiums are doubling and tripling because this majority has failed to act. During election season, we heard from Trump and Republicans who swore up and down they would bring down prices. They promised the American people they would reverse inflation.
Yeah. I think it needs to be off-brand stuff because there's no reason that the government should support bigger business. Yeah, off-brand, I'm fine with off-brand stuff. Or it just be nutritious options. The hardest part for me with putting restrictions on SNAP stuff is the ability to be able to cook it at home. I do feel like a lot of people don't always have a stove to cook meals on or stuff like that. And it is a good argument. If you don't have somewhere to be able to cook said meal, then that is an issue. But no, there's no reason that Coca-Cola should be the #1 fucking thing. But no, I also don't have a problem if you're buying Green Giant vegetables. That's okay if you're going name brand when it comes to vegetables. But yeah, no name brands for bad food, like for things that aren't nutritious, especially.
And focus like a laser on affordability. And they have broken that promise. They have betrayed the American people. And if you want more evidence of that, look at the bills on the floor today. More garbage, more culture war crap, more bills written by this Republican majority of, by, and for the billionaire class. Republicans moved heaven and earth to give tax breaks to the rich and powerful. That got done in a nanosecond. But if you're a regular person staring down next year's healthcare premium hikes and deciding whether to pay $1,000 more or put food on the table, the answer you get back from Republicans is let them eat cake. We are barreling toward another shutdown at the end of January. We could have spent the last 2 months working on passing the 9 appropriations bills Republicans still need to pass to stop another shutdown. And instead, they went on a taxpayer-funded paid vacation for 8 weeks.
The Republicans didn't. The Democrats pushed for this. Once again, dude, you're just fucking lying. The Democrats were the majority of the people that didn't come in and vote for this to continue. Like, all we did is offered up an extension to come to the table. That's what the Republicans did. And then a handful of Democrats that got immediately thrown under the bus. Go look what Bernie Sanders said about the government coming back in and trying to come up with a resolution for the people. Bernie Sanders was against it. He was against his colleagues in the Democratic Party because he thinks they're taking a knee by getting citizens food. The same argument that you guys blamed on fucking Donald Trump, your own party leaders, people like Bernie Sanders, are against. Like, he tells you that he's against it. It's not a fucking mystery why the Democrats didn't want to come to the table. They were trying to push other things into their agenda.
And let me just say, because we are debating a rule to consider these 8 bills, this rule sucks. 8 closed rules, no amendments, no changes allowed on the floor. Take it or leave it.
Avery, I think there's corruption on both sides at the highest levels. Yeah, I think both sides are awful, but at the most, at least recognize where it's coming from. Like, especially with specific instances. Sorry, tripping over my words.
Leave it. And if you're keeping count at home, that's 80 completely closed rules this Congress, the most ever in a year. And I want to correct the gentlelady because last night in the Rules Committee, she said 5 of these bills didn't receive any amendments. That's because she didn't ask for any. And when you don't send an amendment deadline, everyone knows you're doing a closed rule. And I just want to say to my Republican colleagues, you have been complicit in these 80 closed rules nearly 9 out of 10 times. You, the majority party, have not been allowed to bring amendments to the floor. You're getting blocked by your own leadership time and time again. How does that feel? Again, this is a terrible rule, and I urge a no vote, and I reserve my time.
Gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While it's true there have been 80 closed measures, this number needs context. 12 of the closed rules were in the rules package, which passed 2 weeks before the 119th Rules Committee even organized to begin meeting. Additionally, 25 measures were CRAs. They don't allow for an amendment. 16 were bills that received no amendments, meaning 41 measures were closed by definition. It's also important that 4 of the closed rules are duplicates from a previous failed rule. So in reality, only 27 measures have been closed by discretion of the committee. Additionally, the Rules Committee under Republican...
But yeah, that's coping. Yeah, no, he wasn't wrong. These things should be up for debate. They shouldn't be just pushing closed rules that aren't up for debate. So it's either a pass-fail vote is what they're looking for.
Control has simply been
with the majority of the House.
More productive, producing more total rules than our colleagues ever did. For example, during the most recent Democrat-controlled Congresses, the Rules Committee produced 127 total rules in the 116th Congress and 163 in the 117th Congress. Contrast this to the 200 total rules in the Republican-led 118th Congress. For the 119th, we're on pace to once again produce nearly 200 rules for the Congress. So, Mr. Speaker, we're doing our job. We're not closing out debate. We're having plenty of debate. There's plenty of opportunities for our colleagues to offer amendments. Thank you. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, a lot of words to justify the most closed Congress in history.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, that's why I called it out as coping. And he came back up and was like, yeah, a lot of blah, 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 blah.
The most authoritarian Congress in history. It would make Putin blush. Mr. Speaker, if we defeat the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to provide for consideration of H.R. 6074, which would extend the Affordable Care Act enhanced premium tax credits for 3 years through 2028. We are in the midst of a health care crisis. More than 20 million Americans who get their health care on the ACA exchanges are going to see their premiums skyrocket next year. That
Okay. Why is that happening? Explain that thought fully, though. It's because you guys keep pushing fucking Obamacare that was meant to fail. They said you can keep your health care provider. They said Obama made all these goddamn promises with it and never followed through with any of them. And we knew it was going to fail. Like, the Republicans knew it was going to fail. And now all of a sudden people are wondering why it's failing and not working out. Like, yeah, sorry. The health plan that our party presented isn't working out how we wanted it to. And we haven't held up our end of the bargain of any of the promises that we made to people that are on the health care.
includes 250,000 people in my home state of Massachusetts who are paying lower premiums and copays due to these tax credits, which Democrats created in 2021 and are set to expire at the end of the year. Let me read you some of the stories from folks in my district. Quote, I just received my letter and my monthly costs have gone from $1,287 to $3,026 for next year. As a working family with a daughter who has an autoimmune disease, we are struggling, and I'm working 50-plus hours a week just to pay the insurance, end quote. Another one, and I quote, with the Health Connector, I was paying $264 per month, acceptable seeing that I am healthy but not young. Without the advanced premium tax credit, my monthly premium will be just over $800 per month. I can't and I won't pay that. I will go without. This is happening across the country, and for the sake of millions of Americans and their health care, I urge my Republican colleagues to support this bill and vote no on the previous question. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record, along with any extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question. And I reserve.
Without objection. Gentleman reserved. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to the distinguished gentleman.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's not some good things that come out of it. Yeah, I mean, there's not. I'm not saying that there's not some things that are positive that come out of it. One of the main issues that I had with it was and I think it came around tax season during the Democratic Party being in rule, whether it was Obama or whether it was Biden. You had to show proof of insurance, and then you had to pay for any months that you weren't covered by an employer or something like that. Like, there was other things where they would basically just tax the shit out of you at the end of the year, or you'd pay huge fines. And yeah, that was probably one of the biggest issues. And I mean, healthcare in general is just coming up. Like, and yeah, there was a lot of good things in it, and there was a lot of bad things in it. And I just think there wasn't enough. It wasn't a solid enough plan, because we don't have people competing over healthcare costs anymore. So people are price gouging. Health insurance in general is a scam. Yeah. And then people fighting for cheaper things. And it's like, you want these doctors or you want these people not to get paid as much. Well, yeah, people aren't going to thrive for new inventions and stuff like that, or to be the best in their field if you're making them get paid less. What up, JR? Good to see you. I worked with health insurance companies executives in my mid-20s. The entire industry is such a scam. I believe it. What up, then? Yo.
And from Utah, Mr. Owens.
Gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman, for yielding. Mr. Speaker, after blatant obstruction and prolonged delay on the part of congressional Democrats for over 40 days, the House has returned to regular order. It's good to be back, and it's about time. Today, we're here to advance 8 separate measures that meet the demands of the American people and strengthen President Trump's successful America First agenda. My constituents voted for the dissolution of the Biden bureaucratic barrage and for the safety of their communities, from bolstering American energy dominance to opposing law and order, strengthening the criminal justice system in the nation's capital, to rejecting the failed ideology of socialism. House Republicans continue to deliver measurable and substantial progress. I urge my colleagues to support the rule and the 8 underlying pieces of legislation. Let's continue delivering wins for the American people. Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentlelady from North Carolina reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, shortly on the floor, Republicans are about to finally bring up the Massey County bill.
I do think one of the main things that I saw that was good was, yeah, it's a torch. One of the main things I thought that was good though about it is the coverage that went until you were 25. I think that helped a lot of kids, but I think it also, I don't know, it was around the same time that people started to realize college is a bit of a scam, and that people were getting kind of duped into these 4-year programs when they were kind of undecided about what they wanted to do. They took civics out of school, and economics wasn't very understood by high school students anymore. And they were signing predatory loans and finding themselves getting degrees in something that they were never going to find a field in if they graduated. And yeah, the college in general was a failed attempt at educating our students, at least in the last, I don't know, in the last 30, 40 years. I feel like it's easier to be much more successful just going out and getting a union job or something like that, or just starting a business or something like that. And don't get me wrong, it's not an easier route by any means, but it's not going to put you in debt for the next 20 years. And I mean, yeah, I don't know, learn a trade. Yeah. Hashtag learn to code. I like that hashtag learn to code was the thing right before AI became prevalent all throughout society.
To release the Epstein files. We had to drag this leadership right here kicking and screaming. And I appreciate their sudden and stunning change of heart on this issue. But I want to state for the record that the Republican leadership has tried to block this day for months and months and months. And I also want to state for the
And I agree with it. I agree with him on this. I think the Trump administration has fumbled at every turn when it comes to the Epstein files. And I would say it has to do with Israel's influence on United States politics.
record that Donald Trump could release these files on his own today, right now, right this very second. He doesn't need to wait for.
But I don't like the fact that if the Democrats had something damning, they would have released this already. They wouldn't have had to come up with a Russian dossier, and they wouldn't have had to spy on Obama wouldn't have had to spy on Donald Trump coming into the office. They wouldn't have had to come up with all the bullshit that they came up with if they had solid evidence. So I do think there's a good argument that if the Democrats had something damning, they probably would have done it.
Congress to pass the bill.
Or they're just so corrupt on both sides at the highest levels that they didn't want their people getting exposed even more.
He could release the files himself, but he won't. That is why we are here, because he refuses to act. Meanwhile, the Republican majority has blocked transparency at every turn.
No, I think that there definitely going to be a lot of redactions in said files, and then the redactions are going to be used in order to fit whatever political narrative people are trying to spin at the time. They'll release partial truth to fit their narrative, and then it'll slowly trickle out more and more information.
They stonewalled in committee. The gentlelady from North Carolina and every Republican on the Rules Committee voted 9 times to block my amendment to release the Epstein files. 9 times. Republicans were so afraid of my amendment that Speaker Johnson shut down the Rules Committee and sent us home early in July. And then he refused to swear in a new member of Congress for weeks because she promised to be the 218th signature to force this bill forward. Only 4.
Well, let me see what Mud Rabbit said. It's not that they fumbled, they released them. There are 3 corrupt judges that would not allow it. So now they're going to Congress with it because they can't count on the judges. So then why did somebody like Bongino, Kash Patel, and was it Pam Bondi, the fucking the shit show that they fucking presented to the public, and then Bongino and Kash Patel basically came out and said, "Oh, there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here." So yeah, no, they definitely about faced a couple times from our FBI director and from Bongino. Like, and Bongino, that was something, because I don't think so much that Donald Trump was running on releasing the Epstein files, but Kash Patel was, and Bongino was. They were both very prominent on it. There's a reason that they did that. That's fine and all, but that to me was a public fumble. They could have whatever reason they want, but you don't just lie to the American people and expect them not to go, "What the fuck?" Like.
Republicans signed the.
Build a website you love with Wix.
Shout out to Wix.
For your words,
I feel like everybody charges the exact same amount for a website.
I'm going to yield time to Representative Massey, who has been the Republican leader of this effort in the House, alongside Representative Khanna on the Democratic side. And here's why I'm doing that. This bill should be getting a full hour of debate on the floor. But Speaker Johnson, I guess at Donald Trump's direction, is throwing every procedural gimmick at the wall to see what sticks. And he's trying to limit debate on the floor because for some reason he is very, very afraid of talking about this. So that's why I'm donating a significant chunk of my time to members who have been silenced by the Speaker for the terrible crime of demanding truth and transparency. Now, if I had to guess, most Republicans will probably vote in favor of releasing the files. But they're not voting yes because their conscience changed. They're voting yes because Donald Trump tells.
Yeah, because Donald Trump just changed tactics. And now all of a sudden, prior to this, he's down for releasing it. And don't get me wrong, I think he knows, I think he was withholding it for a reason. And I think it was because of the involvement in Israeli intelligence. This has to do with the Five Eyes a lot more than it has to do with Republicans in the United States. It's going to be Republicans and Democrats at the highest levels in the United States, as well as actors and scientists. I mean, we watched all of this happen in front of us. There's a reason Bill Gates' wife separated from him right before all this shit happened. You can see it. You can see it publicly, and the way that people are trying to distance themselves from each other. And there's corruption on all levels, and I really think it comes down to the intelligence agencies all across the world. That's why I say the Five Eyes. It's not just American intelligence that knows about this.
Most of them how to vote. And he realized he's lost on this one. He says the people who support this bill, quote, betrayed the entire Republican Party. Really? Really? How is accountability for a pedophile something Donald Trump campaigned on? How is that now a betrayal? This was his issue, his idea. He ran on release.
I don't think he ran so much on it. I think when questioned on it, he was like, yeah, sure. But I don't think it was so much a running issue on his behalf. I think he was very clear about a lot of stuff. Same with like Iran becoming a nuclear power. I think he was very clear about that up front. And that's why in the beginning of what was going on with the Israeli conflict, I was like, well, Donald Trump he did say even before he was running for president that Iran shouldn't become a nuclear power. But it got a little more convoluted when they were both aiming for property in Gaza.
The files. And by the way, to those who say that Biden should have released these files, let me just address that right now. You're right. He should have. But he didn't make it his number one issue, and he's not the president right now. Donald Trump is. He could have released the files at any point over the last 11 months, but he has not. Republicans have had months to sign the discharge petition. They had months to bring this bill to the floor. But this leadership has chosen obstruction. They don't want to pass this bill. They don't even want to talk about it on the House floor. And so that's why debate matters. And with that, I reserve my time.
All right. With that, I'm going to take a quick break. But yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Let's see. What are we going to do? Give you guys some Trump to scare people away.
Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first. To lead by an any insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. More of insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. America first. Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first. To lead by an any insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. More of insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. America first. Love the flow. Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first. To lead by an any insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. More of insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. America first. Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first. To lead by an any insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. More of insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. America first. Love the flow.
All right. I think we're back. What up, Noel? What up, GP? Good to see you guys. Running for coffee. All right. If they're not finished with this leg of the plan, releasing it early could mess things up. Yes, it's quite telling, and it's showing the public. Yeah, like I said, I do think it's not as simple as Epstein was just involved with U.S. stuff and like celebrities in the United States. I think it's a lot deeper than that, and people are going to they'll see it, but I don't know how long it's going to take. And yes, there's going to be a whole bunch of shit redacted from all of this. Because I knew they were, because I'm pretty sure that when this originally happened, the judges on the case closed it. Like there was so much corruption with Epstein's original case that they couldn't get a lot of this stuff released because people were blocking it all. Oh, yeah, Noel, I got to talk to you at some point. Wanted to, I heard you were hanging out with somebody that's problematic, but maybe I'll reach out to you on Discord. to somebody I heard that you were doing a panel with that is a predator, to say the least. And I've heard him openly talk about children in a very not good way. So, yeah, just reach out to me on Discord. I'll explain it a little bit more. But yeah, lot of bad actors on YouTube, especially. Yeah, there will be redacted stuff in the Epstein files. Oh yeah, and that's why I say the way that they release it is going to be very important to pay attention to, because it's going to be set up so that it can be interpreted in one way and not as is.
Massachusetts reserves. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's be clear. Republicans don't oppose the full transparency of the Epstein files. We embrace the Oversight Committee's task of doing just that. We embrace Representative Massey's legislation here today by putting it up for a vote under suspension. I'll be voting for it. We already have a House investigation that carries the full force of law, and there's no opposition to respecting the majority's wishes to get this codified into law. Let's get to it. Let's get the vote and end these false debates, straw man arguments, and non sequiturs. We tried to pass this bill last week, but Democrats wouldn't agree to doing so. Let's vote now.
And to be fair, there was a handful of Republicans that Donald Trump was against that were trying to get this released, and after his about face, the guy wasn't wrong from the Democratic Party. From Massachusetts, he was spot on with saying that that's why the rest of the Republicans kind of jumped in. But I feel like there's a little bit of information that the public doesn't know about said Epstein files, and like how many people it involves outside of the United States. Because it might not be good for people like Turning Point USA or the Daily Wire or all of these other people that are very pro-Israel right now, and trying to convince everybody else how pro-Israel they are, and separating themselves from people like Tucker Carlson. Like, the political movement on the right is very interesting right now, and what everybody's doing.
Democrats should stop, listen, and take yes for an answer. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the gentlelady doesn't oppose this? Boy, you have a funny way of showing it. I gave the gentlelady 9 opportunities in the Rules Committee to bring this measure to the floor. 9 opportunities. And every time I brought up an amendment, she voted it down. 9 opportunities. So to say that somehow this is always what you wanted, I don't know. That doesn't pass the smell test. Mr. Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from California, Mr. Khanna.
Gentleman's recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership over the last 5 months to make sure that this bill came to the floor. Thank you also to Don Sisson for his leadership and understanding of all the rules to make this possible. Now, as we are here today, I saw on CNN that the president is meeting with the Saudi prince. You know what America First means to me? How about meeting with the survivors? How about making sure that America's girls are not being raped? That's what it means to be America First, not going and just meeting with Saudi princes. You know, I am...
So that's kind of like a half argument. Okay, so if we're all under the impression that Epstein is no longer alive, don't get me wrong, I think if there was bad actors involved at the highest levels, I don't think these organizations just stopped. I think there's more slavery on this planet now than there ever has been. But I don't know that the release of the Epstein files is even going to get justice for some of the victims, because the victims that are speaking out, like we had other people talking about in the chat, they seem to be more of an issue. Like they're getting unalived, the people that are coming out and speaking about it. So everybody else is scared to speak about it. So I don't even think it's going to get justice for the people that have lost their lives and their families, or I don't know. It's being so held under wraps that anybody that comes public about it all of a sudden disappears. And it's going to make less and less people come out. And watch the release when we get all of this redacted information, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, Why aren't the rest of the people coming out? Because they realize what you're doing. Like, it's not, I don't know. It's, and then both sides are just spouting it off like it's some kind of a political thing.
So honored to be here and working together with Congressman Thomas Massie, who's shown so much courage and principle, and I'm so honored to be here next to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Congresswoman Nancy Mace. I was telling someone, they said, what did you learn through this process? I said, sometimes we have to see people not just through their caricature. And I had caricatures of Representative Greene and Representative Massey and Representative Mace. But what I saw is they cared as Americans and human beings, and they stood with courage. And they looked at this not from politics, they looked at this as what is right. And I'm proud today to be a member of Congress. I'm proud to work with them, and I'm proud of what we are showing this country is possible. That if we actually care about American values, maybe we can overcome some of the bitter divides in this country. If we don't care about just getting the credit and maybe work together, we could actually care about forgotten and abandoned Americans like the survivors that testified today. I was so moved by their testimony. How can you hear their testimony, as all of us have heard, see their tears, see them holding up photos at the age of 14, and think that they're not telling the truth? This is not politics, this is humanity. Sometimes we get into these chambers and we forget what happened, of how we grew up. Most of us, we grew up, we went to barbecue, we went to Little League games, we went to church or temple. We didn't fly around in private jets and go to a rape island. We didn't buy off politicians and tell them to keep quiet. We didn't think.
What do you mean we didn't? You're about to figure out that this happened on both sides. And yeah, the Hollywood people that you were looking up to, like this isn't just, yeah, there is the rest of society that wasn't doing this, but the 1%ers that were able to do this kind of stuff, yeah, it was on all levels. It was actors, it was politicians, it was scientists, and God, Epstein was running a fucking genetics lab and trying to like store his semen cryogenically so that he could repopulate the world. Like, people have just been looking past all of this corruption in the music industry and Hollywood and all of this stuff for the longest time. And then pretending that it's only one side is wild.
That it was normal to abuse or rape young girls, and then they're saying, well, we don't know if they were 18 or 22. Come on, it's rotten. Then they say, well, just care about the price of eggs, just care about the price of healthcare. You know what's more important than that? American values. These rich, greedy men abused American values. They abused what's sacred about this country. They abused what built this country.
Are you the gentleman additional minute?
And it is time that they're going to have a reckoning. The Epstein class is going to go.
I don't know. There'd be an argument for that. Is why I don't know. What is it? Genghis Khan is almost everybody related to Genghis Khan because of his sexual prowess during his lifetime, and then all the random bottlenecks in society.
The reason they're going to go is because the progressive left and the MAGA right and everyone in between is finally waking up against this rotten system. And when people are united, when people work across the aisle, amazing.
Oh, I don't think he was worried about something like that. I don't think Epstein was worried about dumbing down the population. It was a power thing. And this is what I mean by humans corrupt, humans corruption when it comes to power and prestige. Like humans are corrupt by nature to me. And as soon as you give them power, you can see what kind of human they are. Like it's usually a prime example where you give themselves enough rope to hang themselves with. And they do every time. There's very few people that, given the right circumstance, or given the ability to make choices like that, they choose the moral route.
Things can happen because the American people are kind and good and decent. So it's an honor, Congressman Massey, to have worked with you, and I salute particularly the courage of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace. None of this would have been possible without their courage in standing up on the petition and for what they did. I'll yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, at the top of this page that I have, I've written Democrat hypocrisy on Epstein. That's what we're hearing today. I'm proud to be a member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. I'm proud to have supported the full investigation into the Epstein files on that committee. Furthermore, I'm proud to have supported formalizing that investigation by taking the decisive step in directing that investigation by a special rule provided by the Rules Committee. This gave the oversight investigation the full weight of the House of Representatives behind the committee's existing subpoena power. Very important in this debate. Let's get things straight here. In just a matter of hours, we're going to get to vote on the Massey bill. But that won't preclude the existing House Oversight and Government Reform Committee's investigation in any way. And that's a great thing because that investigation is yielding results. We now know that one of Jeffrey Epstein's closest confidants was apparently Larry
What up, baby love? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well.
Summers, a cabinet member in the Clinton administration. We now know that a Democrat member in this body, Stacey Plaskett, was colluding with Jeffrey Epstein in real time during a hearing down President Trump. Mr. Speaker, you can't make this stuff up. We now know that Epstein himself hated President Trump. It's in black and white. We now know that one of the chief Epstein victims stated that President Trump never acted inappropriately. And don't forget, that oversight investigation specifically subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton for their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. They haven't been quick to step into the breach.
I think I remember you. Did you come on my panel one time and we talked about camping? If I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Or if I'm conflating it with somebody else. I'm starting to see so many names on YouTube that it's hard to remember where I'm meeting them from, but I'm trying my best, I promise.
And exonerate themselves, have they? But the truth will continue to come out as it has because of Republicans and a current Republican-led House Oversight and Government Reform Committee investigation, one that already carries the full force of law. Let's see where that leads. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the gentlelady says that just trust her and the Republican leadership. And I got to tell you, I can't, after what I saw unfold over these last several months. Obstruction and using every maneuver possible to avoid this moment where we're having here today. And I want to say that for the record, it doesn't matter whether there's Republicans or Democrats or independents that are implicated in these files. We believe in accountability for everybody who abuses young women. And we believe in justice. And that is kind of what's uniting many of us on this, on this side of the aisle here today. And I just want to, again, I want to thank.
I don't know why this is like having a delay on it. His words are not matching his mouth. It's bugging me.
Thank Representative Connor for his leadership. I want to thank Representative Massey, Representative Green, and Representative Mace for their courage and for their willingness to stand up for what is right. We don't agree on very much, but we do agree that there ought to be accountability when young women are abused. And so that's what this is about. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Massey, control the remainder of my time.
Without objection, the gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, may I inquire as to how much time I have?
You have 17 minutes remaining.
Mr. Speaker, today's an extraordinary.
Okay, yeah, I do
I
remember
inquire as
you.
to how much time I have.
You have 17 minutes remaining.
I yield myself 2 minutes.
The gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, today's an extraordinary day in this chamber. If my
Say hi to Just Me for me. I haven't talked to her in a while. Hope she's doing well as well.
colleagues will vote for this measure, we'll see justice triumph over politics. Truth will triumph over deception and obfuscation. Transparency will triumph over dark money. Partisanship will fall away to bipartisanship. Grassroots, the people, will reclaim the people's house with this vote. It's going to be a victory for survivors, not just survivors of the Epstein sex trafficking scandal, the 1,000 survivors that exist. Some of them are victims. They're no longer alive. Some have committed suicide. They share one thing in common. Their youth was robbed from them. Much of their lives were robbed from them, but they're claiming it back. We're going to help them claim that back. But it's not just a victory today if this vote prevails for those survivors.
So I want to see people from both of these parties make some kind of commitment for what they're going to do for said victims. So I know that it's not just a political stunt. To be fair, like I'm all about getting this released and getting this off the table in the sense of using it as a bargaining chip and shit like that. But make serious commitments to the victims actually involved, rather than just making platitudes, I guess, in front of people on C-SPAN. Yeah, I want that. I want the best for America, regardless of who's in charge. I think everybody should want that, regardless of if you guys agree or not with who's in power. We should always want the best for America, and we shouldn't give up on America. But I can see why people do. I feel like they They definitely feel like politics is more of a game at this point, and their vote might not count for much. But yeah, most everything is a political stunt. But actually make commitments to these people. Like if you're going to use them as your talking point for your side, at least make commitments to these people. Not just it's my party and this is why we're doing it. And by the way, victim, victim, victim. Yeah, just help these people. Those are the people that need to be taken care of. You guys are going to end up fucking offering Ghislaine Maxwell a fucking some kind of get out of jail free card to release information. That's what I was worried about from the Trump administration more than anything, is as soon as everybody started pressing the Epstein files, all of a sudden she started doing interviews again. And I was worried that they were going to let off her sentence for information. And I don't think there's any amount of information she should be able to give away that's going to free her from being in prison for the rest of her life. And bring back the fucking death penalty. What are we doing here? Public execution needs to be a thing again, too. Bring back the death penalty. Stop letting people out of fucking jail early. And don't make the taxpayers pay for them to be in jail for the rest of their lives. Delayed to edit, then sure release. Yeah. Yeah. All redacted, all edited.
Survivors. It's a victory for every person, man or woman, boy or girl, who's been victimized sexually in this country. Anybody who's been a victim of sexual assault. Or maybe they've been victimized by a family member. Maybe it's not a billionaire. But they're all waiting and watching to see what we do today. They're wondering, if I go to mom or dad, will anything happen? If I go to the sheriff, will anything happen? Well, we have a chance today to make something happen. Something that's not happened, something that should have happened decades ago, and that is to get justice for these victims and survivors and transparency for America. That's what this vote is about today. And I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Kentucky reserves. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I now yield 5 minutes to the gentlewoman from Georgia, Mrs. Green.
The gentlelady from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Marjorie Taylor Greene? Okay. All right. We're listening. We're listening.
Speaker, I proudly rise today in a bipartisan effort to release the Epstein files finally, after 5 administrations have covered it up. Earlier today, I attended the press conference where the survivors, they're not victims, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse and sex trafficking.
The ones that you talk to currently are survivors. But yes, they're the ones that are no longer with us or that are not able to come forward because nothing is being done. Those are victims. But I get once again, the platitude of calling them survivors. Yes, they've been through something traumatic and they survived it. But at the same time, they're victims of not only the U.S. government, but this fucking creep Epstein and all of his associates, and probably, all of the people that they probably watched, all of these Hollywood figures and politicians that they probably watched involved in all of these things. These aren't just going to be victims of Epstein. These are going to be victims of Epstein's colleagues. And even Marjorie Taylor Greene fucking irks me. I think she was the one that was trying to put limits on speech after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which as soon as you start limiting speech, wait till the other party's in power. See what happens.
Told their stories. And they told stories about how it started back in 1996, and they continued on through the decades. And they told stories about how they told someone and tried to get help. They told the FBI, and they weren't listened to. And they told law enforcement, and no one did anything. And these women don't just number a few. These women number around 1,000 women. And they are victims of something that's unthinkable. And this should have never, ever happened. This was the biggest fight I think I've seen in Washington, D.C. This is my 5th year here. And this was a fight that we should have never had to wage. It should have been the easiest thing for every single member of Congress. It should have been the easiest thing for the Speaker of the House. It should have been the easiest thing for the President of the United States to release all the information, every single file, on behalf of these American women. These American women aren't rich, powerful elites.
You think it was just American women? Marjorie has to know that there was modeling agencies overseas that were involved in this. Like, that's publicly known Like, it's not just American women that we're worried about. Why don't we worry about all the women that were involved in this? Like, this is what I mean by platitudes. Like, there was definitely women overseas, and there's an argument to be made that probably the women overseas are probably still dealing with this, and they're not. According to Marjorie Taylor Greene, that is not her number one concern. Her number one concern is Americans, but
They do not have someone paying for their airline tickets or paying for their trips or paying for their expenses every time they try to do something to get this information out. These are your average Americans. And you want to know what the Epstein files represent, the cover-up represents to average Americans? It represents the failures of the federal government and Congress to the American people. And that is what people rose up about in 2024. They wanted and demanded transparency from their government and for Americans finally to be put first. And today, with this vote, we are finally.
I know she's America first, but at the same time, when you're digging into a file like this, you're going to expose, you should want to expose the victims everywhere and the survivors everywhere, because hey, it shouldn't be an America first thing. If you guys aren't trying to make this about fucking politics, then don't make it an America first situation. That's not what this is.
Putting these victims and these survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and the cabal of rich, powerful elites that expands not just here in the United States of America, but to other countries as well, we're putting them last. And that is
You're putting them last. You just said that. These American women, those are the ones you're working for.
exactly what Americans want. You see, for far too long, Americans have been put last. And they're sick of it. They're sick and tired of it. And this is why they don't trust Congress. This is why they don't trust the government. And here's the problem. All of these women who have suffered in shame for years and years and years, women who were terrified, women who were intimidated, women who were threatened, just like Virginia Giuffre. And now she's dead. And these women should have never faced that, for this information to come out. And we, especially the 4 Republican members of the House of Representatives, we should have never faced intimidation and threats for us to get this vote to come to the floor. Never forget, there were 4. Thomas Massie, myself, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. We had to sign a discharge petition, and we had to fight through intimidation, and we had to endure it for months to push that discharge petition finally to 218 to get this vote to come out. This is what the American people are sick of, and rightfully so. Now, where does this go from here? The question will remain, will the Department of Justice release all the information? Will a judge in New York release the information? Will the CIA release the information?
No. The simple answer, no. They will not release all that information, no matter how much each side begs, because they made deals during Epstein's first arrest. A great example is when his house went up for sale in New York, Epstein's, his mansion or whatever the fuck. You're going to tell me the FBI didn't fucking gut that place? And you don't think there's fucking recording devices in the goddamn walls? Like, they should have ripped that place to the fucking studs and then just demolished it. Like, I don't understand. Like, like the fact that the FBI and all of these other people didn't just gut this place. It's so weird to me. There's so many red flags in this whole thing.
And will foreign governments release their information? Or will this continue after this vote today be a cover-up? A cover-up of the rich, powerful elites that bond together in sex and human trafficking abuse and all.
They did that on the island back when he was arrested and gave him back his tapes. Yeah. This is so publicly known of just the corruption that everybody can see. And it's been going on for years. I get it that it's falling on this administration to finally do something about it, but their ability to do something about it is still limited. People will never realize how corrupt things are right now. Oh yeah, no. And we won't find out about these things until 60 years later if we do. Possibly. I would say say it's a definite possibility. What was the one that fucking confused me the most? While he was in prison before he passed away, he took a call from his deceased mother, and the jail okayed that. So I would like to know who the person was that he was talking to when his mother was deceased and the jail was forwarding these calls. You know, they recorded it. Whenever you're in jail, they record your phone conversations. That just comes with it. And yeah, the camera's not working, losing the footage, losing a minute. Once they did finally release some edited footage, like all of this stuff is just touted in front of people's faces and then pretending that there's no corruption. You call bullshit on the conversation with his dead mother? Yeah, me too. That's definitely not possible unless he's got some kind of Ouija board phone that I don't know about. Spirit box phone.
All types of global business that enriches them but never serves Americans. The American people will know, and the victims, actually the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, will know because they know the list of names. And I remain dedicated to my promise to read those names here on the House floor if those women ever find them in a place that it needs to be done. I yield back to Mr.
Gentlelady
Massey.
from Georgia yields back. Gentleman from Kentucky reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
I reserve, Mr.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I yield myself a minute and 30 seconds.
Gentleman is recognized for a minute.
I want to thank the generosity of Jim McGovern, Representative McGovern, for granting us this time. I'm embarrassed for my own party today. I'm embarrassed we withheld swearing in a duly representative of the people for 49 days just to avoid this vote that's finally going to happen today. I'm embarrassed that my own party isn't going to yield me time to debate this, even though they say they support it, and I authored it. They don't even want to yield me time to debate this during the bill debate. But I'm thankful. Let me tell you who I'm thankful to. These three brave women, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert. They have been threatened. They have been intimidated. Physically, politically, it's disgusting. And not by the far left. They have been intimidated by people in our own party. And for what? For seeking justice for these victims. So my hat's off. I congratulate them for standing strong. I've always wondered, where were the Republican men during this battle? We've taken 5 months. These three women and I have had to drag our party to this floor today to even vote on this. And Ro Khanna is the most to be thanked here in an extraordinary display of bipartisanship. He did not hesitate when I asked if we wanted to bring this bill to the floor together, if he would stand in the trenches with me. He said yes. With that, I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Boy, we need to get facts straight here. President Trump's DOJ, in his first term, arrested and prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein. We, on our side, want justice to prevail in this case and in every case. Speaker Johnson has always been clear that if the discharge petition reached the necessary signatures, that the House would consider the legislation, and that's what we're providing for in our rule today. In fact, as soon as the petition hit 218 votes last Wednesday.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
House Republicans offered a unanimous consent request to pass the legislation then. However, the Democrat leader would not give consent to do that last week. Why? Because they're not really interested in this. They're interested in some other things. And Mr. Speaker, I have to correct the record. Mr. Massey did not request time from me. I'm the person who controls the time on the Republican side, and he did not request time from me.
Yeah, it sounded like they gave him a minute and a half before him to just say they didn't give me any time. Like he asked for a minute and a half. And she has been yielding most of the time. Didn't she have like an hour, is what she originally stated?
Or I would have given him time. I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I'd like to now recognize the gentlelady from South Carolina for 5 minutes, Nancy Mace.
Gentlelady from South Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank my colleagues today for the time, Mr. McGovern and Mr. Khanna, for the 5 minutes on the floor to speak about an issue that is not political for me. Helping the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and his horrific, gruesome, brutal sex trafficking ring is deeply personal. And while we often have many
How's it going, Della?
disagreements about a lot of issues, maybe most issues, today they are allowing us to speak on the floor. And I want to thank my colleagues, Congressman Massey,
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, the four of us making history today over the discharge petition and delivering justice for those who have desperately fought for it for, in some cases, almost 30 years. I wore white today because I wanted to reflect on the innocence of the young women who had their innocence stolen from a demon named
Thank you, Bebop. I'm doing good. Hanging in there. I'm doing good.
Jeffrey Epstein, from demons, friends of his, rich and powerful people who stole their innocence as young as 14 years old. It was taken from them, and they've never gotten it back. I'm also wearing white today to recognize the courage that it takes for women to come forward, the sacrifices to them personally, professionally, financially, the embarrassment, the humiliation, the shame that we still deliver on the backs of women who have been brutalized, who've been raped, who've been assaulted, the shame that the media pours over their heads, that their colleagues, their friends, their neighbors, their loved ones, because you come forward and because you talk about sexual assault, you are not a slut. It's not because of what you wore. You're not a whore. But that's how women are treated, and you're not lying. And I want every woman to know, every Epstein survivor to know, every woman across the country who is a survivor, who is a victim of assault, that we...
Wait a minute. Who the fuck is out there slut-shaming people for coming out about being a victim of Jeffrey Epstein? Is that like a thing? Are people really getting slut-shamed, according to her? Because I haven't seen anybody get shamed for coming out with actual, like, you know, claims like that.
Today, we see you. And this fight and this vote tonight, I see it is about the Epstein victims, but it's about much more than the Epstein victims. This is about the powerless, taking power away from the very powerful. This is about giving women who never had a voice, giving a voice to the voiceless. This is about their sacrifice. This is about having and recognizing their courage. This is about justice for the Epstein victims, but it's also about hope. Earlier this year, I gave a speech right here on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives, detailing trauma that I experienced, endured, and am a survivor of, that I accidentally uncovered 2 years ago, almost to the day. And today, I still don't have justice, like millions of women across the country.
I just don't know anybody that, like, is openly, like, slut-shaming victims of sexual assault. That's fucking wild. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one.
When I spoke out, I got attacked. When I spoke out, I was shamed. When I spoke out, I was defamed and smeared. And that goes on today, right now, in the present. God sure has a funny way of working through us. I, like many of the Epstein survivors and many other survivors across the country, I don't think I will ever heal from the destruction my abuser did to me. But I can heal by being a vessel and being a voice for all those who need it. And that's why we are here today. That is why I will never abandon a single survivor ever. And I will never waver. I spent my morning talking to law enforcement and others about another potential.
I think there's a stark difference between believe all women and then slut shaming victims. Like I don't think it's an either or. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm off, but no. The best way to prosecute like rapists and stuff like that, because I don't believe there's a rape culture in the United States, strictly because we have laws against it. But when the laws aren't enforced, that's the issue, that the laws aren't being enforced. Where we do probably have a rape culture, it's probably that's accepted and laughed about. It would be with men in prison. I would think that's actually one that is acceptable. You can make jokes about it in movies. You can make jokes about dropping the soap. That is one that everybody's allowed to laugh about, and for some reason it's acceptable. That's the only one I can think of where it's openly just talked about and nobody gives a shit about it. Or they think people are deserving of it. I've even seen people say stuff like that. And, you know, they're not they're not getting shamed for saying that they're in support of a rape culture. That's a real rape culture that goes on that everybody's okay with. Prove me wrong, because I really do think that's a real thing, and I've never heard a good argument for at least a moral argument. Like, you can't pretend there's a rape culture and then there actually is one and then just ignore it. I'm not saying that they aren't, but if you're going to perpetuate the idea that there's an actual rape culture, how about pointing to the one that people actually make jokes about? Like, that's one that's publicly joked about.
Central Jane Doe number.
It's in fucking Adam Sandler movies. What is it? I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry or something like that. Chuck and Larry.
5, who may be another sexual assault victim in the case that I uncovered 2 years ago. It's very difficult for us to come forward, but I want to thank the women who have, the Epstein victims, the victims in the case that I uncovered. I want to thank all of you for being a voice, for giving me hope. Maybe one day I too can get justice. Thank you, and I yield.
Lady yields back. Gentleman from Kentucky reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I like the idea of prisoner justice in jail, but not the specifics of how they do it. I do like the idea that when somebody is sent to jail and the rest of the inmates that are there for a long period of time and aren't worried about getting out, figure out that you've done something bad to a child or a woman or something like that, usually there's prisoner justice that goes on. And yeah, I don't frown upon that, to be fair. I think you give up a lot of rights when you commit certain crimes, as well as probably human rights.
Our colleagues want Americans to believe that this discharge petition and underlying legislation are the be-all and end-all in this investigation. However, it's House Republicans who've worked tirelessly to achieve true justice for victims. To date, the significant information that has come out has come from the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. As a result of its issuing 13 subpoenas,
I agree, but hurt people isn't a justification for bad behavior. You know, to be fair.
Released 65,000 pages of documents from the Department of Justice, the Epstein estate, which was not mentioned in the underlying legislation, former U.S. attorney, and others. Let me state again, the unanimous consent request to pass the legislation immediately last week was blocked by the minority leader. Full stop. If Democrats truly cared about finding justice immediately for victims, this legislation would have been passed last week.
Your setup wants up.
House Republicans, on the other hand, remain.
She's doubling down on the we tried this last week and nothing happened argument. And I don't think it's working out so hot.
Focused on truth, accountability, and delivering real justice for Epstein's victims, not political points. I reserve.
Reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, may I inquire as to how much time I have remaining?
Gentleman has 5.5 minutes remaining.
I yield myself 3.5 minutes.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, all that is necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. And we've had a lot of good men doing a lot of nothing on the other side of the aisle until we did something. 3 brave women and myself and the Democrat caucus. We did something. And then what did they do? They've opposed us every step of the way. They've lied about the legislation. Let me tell you some of the lies they've told. They've said that it doesn't protect victims. Well, if that is so, why were dozens of victims with us today at a press conference urging this body to pass this legislation? It's because this legislation specifically protects victims. They've said this legislation does not.
I wonder how the victims are actually perceiving the actions that are going to be taken on their behalf, because that would be because there would almost have to be an idea of safety or anonymity, I guess, involved in all of it. Otherwise, how would you get them to come forward and not have them feel like they were at risk? I feel like there would have to be some kind of stipulations in what they're trying to passing that made the victims feel comfortable. Otherwise, why would they? Especially after seeing what's happened as a public cover-up for so long.
Prevent the release of child pornography. Of course it does. We have a specific provision in our legislation to prevent that. They've said so many falsehoods about this legislation, but now they're going to vote for it, hopefully enthusiastically.
But that's a lowball one. I don't think anybody thought people were going to release pornography. That was actually some bullshit that fucking Kash Patel said. It's just porn. And no, we're not going to release any of his sex tapes. And it's like, nobody was asking you to do that. We're asking to get justice for the actual victims involved. Not and make sure that these people face the highest crimes as well. They're frustrated with the process. The list that Congress is supposed to pass is the list they compiled. The list that the FBI had is redacted and old news. These ladies stated that they will present their own list to Congress. Okay.
But really, they've been drugged to this. Our judicial system is broken. If it were working, there wouldn't be 1,000 victims who haven't seen justice yet. They are victims of the Epstein class. I begrudge nobody success that they become a billionaire. But if you think being a billionaire or buying politicians keeps you out of the judicial system, lets you rape young women, lets you traffic women, you've got another thing coming when this bill passes. Do not let the Senate muck this up. There have already been efforts to derail this, our discharge petition. The Oversight Committee has released thousands, tens of thousands of documents. That's fine. Keep working. How many names have you released? 0. You are still protecting, or the DOJ is protecting, pedophiles and sex traffickers. The time for that to stop is now. Now, our speaker says, oh, this bill needs amended in the Senate, and specifically, he's trying to create a loophole. He's trying to categorize the pedophiles as victims. He's saying, oh, we don't embarrass the people that went to the rape island. We should protect those names against unreliable accusations. Is he calling all of these victims unreliable?
Yeah. So, yeah, he is convicting. Well, not convicting, conflating two different lists. And I think list is such a vague term because I think the flight logs got considered to be a list. And then I think there's a difference between the flight logs and then people that were on the flight logs that visited the island. And then there was differences on the people that flew on the flight logs multiple times. Like, I think there's a reason. There was a few reasons that Kevin Spacey kind of dips out of Hollywood. Why you don't see what's his name from he's from Friday, I think. He plays Smokey. He's also in what's that movie called? Rush Hour with Jackie Chan. All of a sudden that guy kind of like disappeared out of movies. He was on the flight log a few times. I remember seeing a flight log that had it, and I want to say it was in the mid-90s was when it was dated for the flights, and then that there was also there was initials for most of the stuff, and people were putting it together. That list. Wait a minute. Some of the victims that unalived themselves maybe didn't. There's the flight logs, which Anons already have. There's the FBI report that everyone knows about. There's a fake list the Dems made up when they were asked to release. And there's the list that the actual victims made, which is the ones that the Democrats are trying to put forward, I guess, with the victims that they've talked to. I think Kevin Spacey's got more issues than that. I don't think he left Hollywood because he's gay. I feel like he would be because some of his victims were young men, weren't they? But yeah, I don't think he left Hollywood for being gay. I think there was other surrounding things, and he was also in the flight logs. To the best of my knowledge, just because the pickup places and the locations made sense. But of course, I could be wrong. It could be initials of somebody else, but that was the speculation. Everybody was trying to put ties to public people. And this is just a list that I saw. I guess I can't verify the validity of said list, but there was a public flight log that I do remember released. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. I feel like I've been on for a while, just rambling. Maybe I'll cover the rest of this another time. But should we go out with? I gotta think of something I haven't played recently. All right. Have fun, make babies catch Pokemon, all that fun stuff.
You know, back when I was in the academy, we would follow every toast with a song.
It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Come cheer up, my lads. Come cheer up, my lads. 'Tis better to have loved and lost. 'Tis better to have loved and lost. Captain Jean-Luc Picard than never to have loved at all. The Federation starship. Come cheer up, my lads. Come cheer up, my lads. 'Tis better to have loved and lost. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. 17346732147 Charlie 32789777643 Tango 732 Victor 73117887324767897643776 Lock. When I have plucked the rose, G.O. Grey hot, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease. In faith, I do not love thee. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? When I have plucked the rose, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease. In faith, I do not love thee. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Come cheer up, my lads. Come cheer up, my lads. 'Tis better to have loved and lost. Incredibly unbroken sentence, moving from topic to topic. No one had a chance to interrupt. It was quite hypnotic. Incredibly unbroken sentence, moving from topic to topic. No one had a chance to interrupt. It was quite hypnotic. That's an interesting twist. Yeah.